Testing, 1, 2, 3. You've got all your Charger gear on because...
I look good. Hey, bite down from play one now.
And he is dicked.
Those guys don't all suck.
I love you too. Bye.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin
Herbert on the move and throws and touchdown.
You don't let all the noise affect you. You don't worry about what's going on outside of the field.
Oh, yeah. Stay tuned for some good content.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wooldog, sitting with two beautiful Duggan brothers, like Kev Huggin Duggan.
Oh my God, you sound so happy, Adam.
I couldn't be happier. Kyle, the coach Duggan.
We beat the Jets. Let's go, guys.
We
Thank
did it.
God.
We landed on the moon.
God. It was scary there for a little while, folks. I mean, it was a bookend of frightening quarters. The first quarter and the fourth quarter were the most harrowing quarters of that game, but we came out with a W, and you heard it in our voices in the instant reaction. It was sweet.
It was a bit of a scary sandwich, though. The bookends were a little scary.
Yeah. Tell Herbert not to order the scary sandwich at Subway, pretty please.
Don't get that with the herb, the Italian herb, please.
All right. So as we always do, let's take a look at what exactly happened in this scary sandwich of a game.
I think we just came up with the episode title, The Scary Sandwich.
Scary Sandwich. All right. First drive of the game, the very first drive of the game ends with a frickin' blocked punt. The second one in 2 weeks.
Damn it.
Third one of the season, most by any team this season. What
Nice.
the heck? Breaking records, dude.
That's a great stat.
That's a great stat to have in our back pocket. And of
We
course,
just need to start. We need to start going to like quarterback quick punts, just out of shotgun. Just
Right?
eliminate all of this.
Yeah.
And just let Herbert just kick it down there as far as he can.
He probably could do it. So, of course, Jets got to take advantage of the block punt and I guess score a touchdown. Sans the extra point, though, so the score is 6-0. Chargers appeared to rally back only for Keenan Allen, God, one of the most trusted hands in football, to fumble right on the goal line. Just like, what in the heck is happening in this first quarter? It just like, you crumble. You're like, I can't believe that this is happening. But while this felt like yet another rough start to a terrible game, Chargers' most infamous cornerback, Tavon Campbell, intercepts old man Flacco and walks it into the end zone. Badgley tops it off to bring the score 7-6. Chargers waste no time in the second quarter with Herbert connecting to Mike Williams for a tutty. It was a nice deep one. Chargers' next drive saw Herbert throw himself a patented Herbie bomb to Tyron Johnson for a 54-yard gain.
Was it a nice deep one?
It was a nice deep one also. These were all deep ones. It's every pass he throws is a deep
all
one.
Herbert knows is deep ones.
Oh, God. This is going off the rails. We're only a couple minutes in.
Finished that drive connecting with Hunter Henry in the end zone. And before the quarter was over, Badgley does his part and kicks himself field goal to bring the Chargers up 24-6 going in the half. 24-6 going in the half.
And who was confident? Anybody?
None of us, dude. It was like,
I was happy at least.
I
I don't know
Yeah.
if confidence was something I was
Kev did the
considering.
usual halftime call that whenever we're winning and we're all excited, and I was like, "This is not going to be good."
I mean,
These halftime
Well,
calls
yeah,
don't
it
tend
was
to do
good
us well.
that your connection, whatever, sucked. So you were like freezing, and Adam and I were just talking, and you were just I couldn't tell what you were saying.
I couldn't
so it didn't
Debbie
really
Downer
matter.
anybody.
yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't Debbie down us. We were too happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, honestly, if it weren't for that blocked punt, it'd be 24-0 going in the half. So
Seriously.
it's we were feeling at least somewhat good. We were apprehensive, but we're
Right.
feeling good. So Jets opened the third quarter with a scoring drive, but someone forgot to check Herbert for weapons as he fired a laser to Keenan Allen on the next drive, bringing the score 31-13. Jets finished the quarter with another touchdown. Again, no extra points, please. They're on a diet. Score sits at 31-19 going into the dreaded fourth quarter. Yeesh.
Here comes that scary sandwich.
Here's that other scary piece of bread for you. We found it behind the microwave. Badgley does his best for the Chargers, scoring the only points for us. but Jets were still hungry for touchdowns and brought the score to 34-26. And on the very last drive of the game for the Chargers, Ty Long, who we all expect to punt, takes the ball and goes into the end zone and gives the Jets a safety, but leaves 1 second on the clock. God knoweth why. But this was no ordinary Charger game, folks, as the Chargers didn't blow the ensuing dropped kick and walked away with a 3-8 record.
I don't know where to start, man. As you were saying all those things, like I was getting flash flooded with memories of the game. There's like a couple of things. One, at the end of the game, I wanted to be like, wow, that was a smart coaching decision. Like,
you
send him
wanted
back,
to
run out the clock, and then Gomer Pyle just stands in the back of the
You're
end zone.
supposed to run back and forth till the clock runs out.
Dude,
You could even see Lynn on the sideline, like literally just like his finger was going back, forth, like looking at his punter.
He's lucky he did not get laid out, dude.
Destroyed.
Right.
He just stood there like fetal position, ready to get knocked out.
Right.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you?
He's
I mean, he
lucky.
should have ran to like the other corner and like
Just
taken
run
a
over-
knee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
1
as the
second
clock
would have been
ran
gone,
up.
dude.
And not get tackled.
He was a
too.
statue.
Like he didn't need to get tackled for them to get a safety. So
No. That was, I don't know if that's like the special teams guy. That's his sacrificial lamb.
Dude.
Like, sorry, I've been coaching poorly. Here, kill Ty Long and I'll get a new punter and everything will be better.
yeah.
Dude, it's just another example of like the details. Like, I don't know if they went over this play with the special teams, went over this play or this situation. Because why would you
feel
go
like
run
it.
back there and just stand there?
Didn't feel like
Just
he had any
stand there.
technique going in that play.
Not even a little
That
bit.
was
It
terrifying
like
running backwards.
Yeah.
baffling.
No.
Yeah.
But we won.
We
So
won. I mean, we
It was
can't
more,
stress that
it was
enough.
more funny than it was sad.
The other thing, though, had they not missed 2 PATs, and we would have only been up 6 with them getting the ball at the end of the game, man, they would have scored. You just know
yeah.
it. So thank God there's that little bit of added like calmness for us fans, being that we were up at least 8. So
I
they had
didn't
to go
even
make
think
2
about
plays
that.
happen.
That's for real, though.
Yeah,
Like,
if they
that's
would have made those
for
2
real.
PATs, that would have been a much different feeling to the end of that game for all of us.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we gave them 2 more points. So the score was 34-28 at that point. So that's only 6 points. Like, you give them a second, like, we're the Chargers, man. Like, I'm expecting us to kick it off and their returner to like run
They're
it in
gonna
for a
run it right
touchdown.
back.
Like,
Yeah, I
and
know,
then
right?
they get the extra point and then they win. Like, it's,
Yeah.
But
It could have.
it
But
could have, but it didn't.
We got a W.
We got a W. We made some improvements, and I mean, just about every healthy body we had out there was able to be out there. Trai Turner left early with I
Don't
couldn't
get
tell
me
what was
started
happening
about
with
that
that.
guy.
That was
We'll get
weird.
into that later,
Yeah.
but he cut his lip open and they had to stitch him up. So
Yeah.
Mick didn't stitch him up and get him back out there too quick. It was game over for him.
That's okay. Obviously, we still came out all right. So, I mean, obviously, the big talk of the town right now is Justin Herbert. I mean,
And his
Golly.
haircut.
and his
'cause it
haircut. We all
worked,
saw the
guys.
haircut prior to the game, and it was like, whoa.
It was a reverse Samson, is what I'm calling it.
Yeah,
because
he got
they
stronger.
cut his hair and he got stronger and better.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that game, holy crap. I think Herbert alone is going to keep Telesco around the organization for a very long time.
I'm cool with that.
You look at the NFL and drafting a franchise quarterback is not a slam dunk.
Mm-mm.
Even if you have a top pick, it's not easy. Like, you look at the Bears, holy crap, what they did with Trubisky, and
Right.
they bust a lot. And we got technically like the 3rd quarterback of the draft.
And I'm a Telesco fan, but it's as much as it was his as it was the Dolphins selecting Tua
Yeah.
before us. Like,
Yeah.
they made that decision easier for us, and thank you, Dolphins.
Right. So far,
for-
that's been a bad decision for them so far. Who knows in the long run? But right now, Herbert is all pro right now.
All pro. And when you look at the rookies, those 3 are always going to be intertwined. Burrow, Tua, and Herbert.
Mhm.
We
Right.
have hurt, benched, and our boy shined. That's what
Right.
it was. Burrow out for the season.
Right.
Tua got benched.
Yeah,
That's
just
just
straight up
crazy.
benched. Like, didn't.
Yeah, just because he was playing poorly.
Yeah.
Just benched him. So it's crazy. And Herbert had one of his best games and looked like a monster out there.
Absolutely. Almost had it was one shy of 50 attempts, which is crazy. I mean, totally blew your bold prediction. yeah, it just blew it out of the water.
Because last week we threw it like 24 times. He doubled his pass attempts from week to week, which another pro, I guess, of our coaching staff is they adapted a little bit, took some chances. Like it was a very low risk week playing the Jets, and they had backups everywhere in the defensive
freshmen
backfield
all over the place.
But hey, at least they did it. At least they did it.
Well, it took them till week 11 to get there, but we got it.
To go off a little bit, like I'm just really concerned with our secondary. Herbert can play like this all game long and be amazing. But if our secondary does what they did last game to the Jets, we're never going to be in any of these games. Like we're just going to get smashed.
What's crazy is like their strategy, offensive strategy for the Jets at the end of the game was throw the ball deep and hope for a PI. That's basically what it came down to.
Or throw it at Hayward the whole end of that game.
Right. Yeah, and it worked.
For the most part. Yeah. I mean, they had the one drive that had 3 pass interference in one game or one drive. And it was like, I don't know. I struggle to find a reason for it. I mean, these are all players that have been in the game long enough to know what causes a pass interference. Although, I mean, there was a couple times ball was thrown that I swear a pass interference was going to get, a flag was going to get thrown and it didn't. So I don't know how much of it is just based off of the, I guess, perception of the ref as opposed to what the rest of the world sees as far as what happens in that play. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I think everyone's a little worried about the secondary. To see Casey Hayward, who's our all-pro shutdown guy, just
play like this,
look really bad. That was not good. I don't know if that injury is still hurting him because he just doesn't look like he's at full speed. Mike Davis, we all know, is a little bit of a liability. He's not going to get re-signed at the end of this year, so there's going to be holes that we have to deal with.
You don't think so? I thought
so.
He's been playing pretty well comparatively to previous seasons. He's gotten better.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't think they'll re-sign him. I don't think he's because he's gonna want money. He's been starting. I don't think we're gonna pay him that kind of contract with what we had going on in our roster. So I think with Chris Harris back in the slot, hopefully soon. Casey, I think he's a little bit banged up. So I think in this next year. This sucks that we're already looking forward, especially after a W, which is pretty crappy. But I think we need to add another corner to our repertoire to be back to where we hoped we were.
Yeah,
big words from you, Kyle. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was a hole that was filled by Jason Barrett for a while, who was just couldn't ever be healthy, and then we trade him away, and now he's heading off to the Pro Bowl probably. So
yeah, and the other thing is we need pressure. The more pressure you get on the quarterback, the less time you have to spend in coverage and running around back there. So yeah, it doesn't seem to it's still not really getting there.
Right.
And I know that they ran the ball really well, which slows it down a little bit. But even with Bosa back this week, it wasn't like we got to him a couple times. We blitzed Perriman, which was beautiful, and he got to the quarterback. But it just isn't a consistent, like that pocket collapsing type of feel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to also affect how the defensive backs look. So when you have Derwin James in there, which will be back next year, it adds a whole nother element because he brings pressure. He also helps a lot when we're in those zone stuff. So I don't know. We're not firing on all cylinders. It's so weird how different our team is from when we originally came into the season. We thought we were going to be a shutdown defense with a grinded out offense. We're a run and gun offense with a hold on for dear life defense. That's what things have turned into.
Yeah, it's, I mean, even week to week, we look like completely different teams. It's not even just from the beginning of the season. And that's just, I mean, you could chalk that up to us getting players back out on the field that are healthy. You can chalk it up to us adjusting the scheme of the play. I mean, obviously, we let Herbert chuck the ball plenty because we knew Jets secondary was totally banged up. I mean, they had a rookie blocking Keenan Allen. Like, it's just not going to end well, obviously, in some of those situations. So it was a great game to be had. I mean, just Herbert had an absolutely amazing day. 37 completions, 366 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Well, and he's on pace to be the best rookie quarterback in NFL history. Ever. The pace he's on is for 397 completions, almost 4,500 passing yards, and 37 passing TDs, which every single one of those categories would be a record.
Absolutely.
So that's just insane.
It is. Yeah. The record right now for a rookie touchdown is Baker Mayfield, and it's only 27.
Wow.
And Herbert's already got 22.
Yeah.
And he didn't even start the first freaking game.
I know, it's crazy, man.
He's having a hell of a season, and he's got everything to be smiling about for sure. And Dan Popper talked to Hunter Henry, and Hunter Henry said that Herbert is starting to really improve in how he diagnoses defenses pre-snap. Said Herbert has started checking the Chargers into the right play more frequently and consistently. So, I mean, you just chalk that up again to Herbert being able to learn and adapt every game and progressing forward.
It's interesting too, like his interview, because a lot of these guys are social media guys, and they got a lot of extracurricular stuff. Like from what I'm seeing, it looks like he only does football. Like he doesn't do anything else. Like he's focusing on getting better, and you can see it each week. He's improving. And they were asking him about his haircut on the one of the interviews, and he's like, I don't know. I haven't seen anything like that. Like he's so in a bubble and unaware of what's being said and what's being talked about, which is good for him. It lets him keep his head down and keep working and getting better and improving. And when your teammates are saying stuff like that, that's huge. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that saw the GQ article about Herbert only eating Subway sandwiches, I mean, he broke down what his normal schedule is, and it's football. Like there is no room for extracurricular activities. It's just football.
I'm not gonna lie, I did the Herbo diet before the game. I got both of his sandwiches. Pretty good. I never get those sandwiches. It was like the Buffalo Ranch chicken and a Philly cheese steak. Nice combo. It was very nice. So I'm gonna have to do that every Sunday moving forward.
That's a big meal before a game, dude.
All right.
I did 6 inches though. I only do the 6s, so it's a foot.
Makes sense.
You weenie.
Fits.
Shut up.
Looking at some of the other stats that Herbert is just breaking left and right. Right now, most games with 3 passing touchdowns. Justin Herbert's got 5. And I guess this is just for
number
rookies.
2? Who's number 2 on that
list?
list?
That's Peyton Manning back in 1998.
Wow.
Ooh.
So 5 games with 3 or more touchdowns for a rookie. Justin Herbert's sitting right at the top right now.
And he's still got a lot of football left.
Still got a lot of football left. You're absolutely right. And he's also one of the highest graded quarterbacks under pressure in 2020. Patrick Mahomes is sitting with him and Russell Wilson. So that's some good company to be around for sure for a rookie quarterback who had no anticipation to play at all this season.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, when I was talking to my dad about it, he was like, just imagine having to wait a whole year not knowing what his potential was.
Right.
Had Tyrod
going into this offseason.
Yeah. And being like, well, I hope he's good. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But no, he's just shown to be just an amazing quarterback. And God, we are so lucky to have him.
Well, and I have a confession.
Uh-oh.
And it's
this is my confession.
It's embarrassing, but I don't consider it embarrassing at all.
It probably is.
Saturday night. You're gonna give me shit, but I don't care. I'm gonna just yell it from the top of the mountaintops.
Oh dear.
Saturday night, I made a new best friend. I was dreaming, but Herbert and I are tight.
You're dreaming of Justin Herbert now.
We're bros now, dude. Not in a creepy way. We're just hanging out being bros. Dude. Just hanging out being bros and having Subway sandwiches.
Were you riding a tandem bicycle together?
No, nothing weird. We're just hanging out.
Rowing
just
a
being
canoe
bros.
together?
And I woke up at like 5 a.m, way too early. Like, I guess it's time to start this day. I got football to watch in about 12 hours, and it's going to go good.
My best friend's under center today.
There's a confession for you. We're best friends.
Thank you.
And I dream about Justin Herbert.
You just knew that he was going to get the win, so he invaded your dreams.
Yes. Best friends. Best friends.
Awesome.
You could say we're best friends. I think you could go that far.
I'm more concerned whether
say
or not
that.
he would say that you're best friends, but
It doesn't matter. He doesn't check social media or really say anything. Like, all that really matters is how I feel about it, and I feel pretty good.
As long as you feel good, that's all that matters.
I feel good about it. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, and also, in case you didn't know, I mean, chances are there's a guarantee that Justin Herbert's going to be nominated for Rookie of the Week yet again, but he also found his way into the FedEx Player of the Week for this week 11, sitting next to Deshaun Watson and Kirk Cousins. Charger fans,
Come on.
you know where to vote.
Come on, fan base.
Yeah.
Activate. Let's activate and
we
vote
already
him
know.
in.
Like, this is his best week so far, and he's won every other week. You know, Karen is all over this crap. She is
fastest click in the West.
She does have the fastest click in the West.
No, but it's so funny. Like, last week, I think it was Jedrick Wills was up versus Tua as the Pepsi challenge, and like somebody on the Charger Twitter said, "Let's get Jedrick Willis in there. Let's make him win," and he won. So there's a lot of Charger fans voting.
Somehow Chargers are the only ones that cared about this Pepsi performance of the week because we dominate.
It's all we have. It's all we have. Right
I love it.
now,
I'm a Pepsi guy now. I used to be a Coke guy, but see you later.
Yep. Pepsi time. We have the king of Pepsi.
Yeah.
And Herbert was not the only guy that had a hell of a game this last week. Keenan Allen also setting some records. 6th career game with 13 plus catches, most in NFL history. 16 receptions, 145 yards, 1 receiving touchdown, and that was a hell of a touchdown that he caught. That was like magic when Herbert threw the ball. It was just like, my ball's going to be in my hand, and when I snap my fingers, it's going to be in Keenan Allen's hands. Just watch.
It was so
abracadabra.
Fast.
Yeah.
It was insane.
And he
he
was running out of the pocket the other way.
Yeah.
And then
threw
just
across
a laser.
He was like jumping in the air and kind of went across his body. It was crazy.
It was beautiful. It was an absolutely beautiful touchdown. So congrats to Keenan Allen on breaking the records of those himself. Right now, his stats, he's on pace now for 130 catches, 1,350 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Glad we signed him. Glad we signed
Put some
him.
respect on his name.
Absolutely.
Dude, how excited is Keenan Allen that he has a throwing quarterback?
It's
you know,
insane.
like he has a record year the year after Phil leaves. No, like when he signed his extension, I was like, that's crazy because Tyrod's Q. He's gonna get like maybe 50 looks this year, probably get like 600 yards at best. All of a sudden, now he's get thrown to 20 times a game.
Yeah,
he's gonna be the best receiver this year.
He is so hyped. Then in interviews, Keenan and Justin are like talking all giddy and about he's the best in the league and he's incredible to each other. It's sweet.
Keenan, chill, dude. He's my best friend.
I think Keenan's encroaching on your guys' bromance for sure.
Keenan, chill, bro.
You know, he also had some other things that came out that at least fall in line with the defense's performance. During an interview, the reporter was asking him, how can you guys clean this up so that you're not putting this back on the defense? And Keenan Allen's response was, I think they, aka the Chargers defense, got to get off the field. 3rd and long, they have to get off the field, plain and simple. And also said, I didn't see a lot of changing from them, aka the Jets. They just threw fades the whole second half. We just got to get off the field on 3rd down. We had 1 drive with 3 or 4 pass interferences. That shouldn't happen.
What do you guys think? I want to get your take. This is usually something that's sent to me. Is this Keenan like being a leader and like challenging them, or is it, or do you think the defense takes it as a dude, back off? We're trying.
I think what it sounds like to me is Joey Bosa and Keenan Allen got together and be like, hey, we're going to start holding each other accountable. Because Joey Bosa is saying the same thing about the whole team. Like, he's like, I don't expect you to do backflips and cartwheels while catching the ball and then scoring a touchdown. Like, they're each trying to, peer to peer, hold each other accountable. It's not all coach's job.
Yeah. Okay. So question. Dave, I know, is already thinking this currently as he's listening to us. That's our father. We, the other week, criticized our coaching staff for coming out in interviews and calling out players. So
players can do it. Players can do it to each other. I don't think
the coach of the team can't say that their players are not performing, but the players can do that of each other. How is that? It's just as divisive, and it's just how you choose to see it. We choose to believe that the players are good, and automatically in the football world, the coaches are the enemy, and they are keeping us from victories. And I think that rubs off on it.
It's as simple as this. Keenan Allen played an insane game, and I'm really happy with him. So if he wants to say something,
he can say whatever he wants.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he can say. I'm just being honest. Like he can say what he wants when he has a game like that. When Coach Lynn still has trouble with the clock a little bit and makes some questionable choices in the game, I don't really care what his opinion on the players are. What?
Yeah, he fumbled on the goal line.
He dropped 3 passes and fumbled on the goal line.
I know, but he still had a great game. Like, I'm just saying, like, it's easier to hear players hold each other accountable than it is for me to hear coaches saying stuff to media about the players. It's just that just feels different.
But I think the question from Kyle stems more like if you're a Chargers defensive player and you're hearing that from a teammate, how do you take that as a fellow teammate, hearing somebody say it? Not just in the locker room or face-to-face, but out there on social media for the world to hear.
Right. So if you're Casey Hayward and you hear Keenan calling you out for committing PIs and not getting off the field on 3rd down, how do you feel? Does it feel? Is it less like hurt?
It doesn't. It's not going to feel good.
Opponent,
it's not. Both ways are going to not feel good. Right. I think it's more. You could lean into your teammates, people you're going to battle with. It's easier to hear that kind of criticism from. I'm sure they give each other a hard time in the locker room. I'm sure that shit happens. It's just now coming out to the media. And maybe that's something we're not used to seeing, but I think it's more palatable hearing the players talking about each other.
So do we think it's a sign of a divided locker room or an attempt at refocusing and like calling, like making us all like be accountable for what we do?
I think it's being accountable. I think it's clearly there's so much shade and everything going on.
Do you think that, or do you hope that?
Yeah, it's what
I
we
hope that.
My heart is at 3-7 that it's starting to divide a little bit, that people are getting frustrated and angry because they weren't doing this at the beginning of the year.
Right.
If you're going to be inconsistent when you do it, it's not a good look to come when you're 2-8, 3-7, or 2-7, 3-7, and then start calling people out. Like if that's your identity and that's what you're going to be as a leader, do it from the beginning. You can't just, now we're losing, so you guys got to get off the field. I may be wrong, but that's just how it's coming across to me.
And I think there's an element of Lynn. I think he's lost something from the locker room a little bit. You never used to have.
You think they're trying to step in where he's now fallen short?
That's what you could put that in those words in my mouth. Sure. I think
kick him out if you don't like him.
I think that there's something going on. Like this isn't normal. Whether it's good or bad, that's not my decision. I don't know how the players are responding to this criticism from their other teammates. But I don't know. I'm not as offended by it as if say Lynn were to say the exact same quote.
I know, and
that'd be different.
I felt the same way when I heard that quote. I was like, "Oh, sweet, Keenan's calling people out, keeping them accountable."
Yeah, he's holding people accountable. But if Coach does it, it's like, whoa, bro.
Yeah, I had to second guess myself. I'm like, wait, we just got on Lynn for doing this to the media, and he's their coach. He's paid to keep them accountable and to do their job. So to me, I was like, wait, what is happening? Why am I thinking this? Why is it okay? It's just because I love Keenan, and all of a sudden everyone kind of hates Lynn.
Lynn was mentioning, somebody asked him about this, some of the players speaking out about this stuff. He's like, I think it's good to have, these guys hold each other accountable. Like peer-to-peer accountability is a good thing. So I don't know if that's
for
him.
Sure
like,
is.
No, that's him like being like, I'm okay with this because we're not doing well, or I don't know. I haven't seen anything like this in Lynn's entire tenure with the Chargers. So that's what's kind of a flag to me to be like, something going on with the locker room.
Right.
Well, I think it's an argument that we've also had before. I mean, going into the half, we're leading 24-6, and truly those 6 points wouldn't be on the board if we didn't have the blocked punt. So when all the points start coming in at the end for the Jets, it's like, dude, defense, you got to play 4 quarters worth of game and hold these guys all 4 quarters. But it's also kind of in the way that he says it as well. He didn't just like get on the mic and go like, yeah, defense was butt out there. Like they just sucked, and I'm glad I'm on the offense. Peace out. Like he just didn't totally disrespect the team. But and I think it's that kind of professional, like we got some areas to improve. You know, in the way that he's saying it, at least. It's not just like, dude, these guys suck, and I hate being on this team. I wish I was somewhere else.
And that's the other thing is we know
that.
Keenan. Like, we know Keenan Allen and his personality, and that's not who he is. But on the same note, we do know Anthony Lynn, and we were all so high on the character person that Anthony Lynn is and the leader that he is. I'm just trying to, again, I know I'm the bad guy and trying to shed light on the coach. But let's just make sure that we're not being unfair. Think through our criticism and our praise for certain comments.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's the difference too.
Don't tell me what to do.
Lynn is
I will.
Lynn is the coach. Lynn is the leader. And you don't want the leader going out and saying those kind of things. If he's like, look, like, you guys are brothers, right? Like, if your dad comes out and goes like, Kev, dude, you sucked. Kyle, you were great. You know, that's different than like you guys criticizing each other. It's like you guys are on the same family, you guys are on the same team. But
I like that perspective.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Lynn is the leader.
That's a good example.
You don't want the dad going out there going like,
my kids suck.
My kids suck, and you know, just
we got to get new ones.
You know, just waving all the dirty laundry out there. Like, you don't want that from the leader.
Our dad holds a press conference.
I think your dad should hold a press conference.
Get this out. I gotta let everyone know how shitty Kyle was this week, and Kevin was great, or vice versa.
So I think that's the reason behind it. But again, it's just Keenan Allen had a great game, so he can pretty much say whatever he wants.
Same.
So injury report looking towards it. We already heard from Chris Harris potentially coming back next week. At least that's what he's saying. We'll see if he holds up.
The only place I've really found this is Chargers Homer tweeted at him and said, "Hey, Chris Harris Jr., you good for today?" Meaning this last game,
right? And
he responded and said, "Next week."
That's crazy.
So we're getting details from Twitter.
His personal responses. That's sick. Like, that's what
great.
Today's sports fans, that's what it is
Absolutely.
now.
And you get all warm inside and fuzzy when you hear back from a player. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, of course. Like, this guy he threw it out there like, let's just take a shot, and he gets a response. That's sick.
Absolutely.
It's dope.
No, it's great. It's great that the fans are now reaching out to the players to get some hot take answers.
I just hope Harris comes in and sparks the secondary and gives them some new life, because God dang it. You know, he is a Pro Bowler. He's one of the better, corners in the league. So I hope he sparks this team, because if our defense stays where it is, our special teams just stop letting punts getting blocked. That's what we're looking for. And maybe don't, Heisman it in the back of the end zone and get tackled. That's kind of all I'm looking for the special teams. And then we'll be in much better shape to be more competitive and not have huge leads get taken away from us.
I hope so. That would be nice if that's what ends up happening. At least make for better games.
A spark.
I mean, it's not like we're really making a playoff run right now. I know technically there's still a chance we could make it, but it's
all in the math. We are not eliminated.
Yeah. I mean,
the Jets are the first team eliminated.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Dude, guys, we eliminated a team, guys.
We upset the Jets.
We eliminated New York.
Later.
Take that.
Who else is potentially coming back next week? But my main man, Austin Eckler, sent out a tweet, Instagram, whatever social media platform you follow, saying midseason form, all the rehab boxes are checked. Up next, getting back out there.
And he's just casually squatting 405.
Casually.
Like lightweight. Like,
yeah,
did you have a
got
hamstring
4
injury?
plates.
Yeah, you tore your hamstring. You're just crushing 405 like it's nothing.
Yeah.
High bar squat, too. The guy's a monster.
Yeah, he's a freak, dude. And just imagine the 1-2 Balaj him punch. It's going to be pretty fun to watch, I think.
Yeah, because apparently that's our only running back. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, Joshua Kelly. I feel like
he got the pump blocked, and I think that he got reprimanded for not trying on special teams.
Yeah,
and then Troy Maine Pope came in for like 5 or 6 plays,
something like that. Yeah,
it was the Kalen Balaj show.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm excited for Austin Eckler. Man, I cannot wait to see because him out of the backfield
with
just
Herbert,
an open field versus what we've seen. Like, Balaj has done okay. He's caught the ball and he's gotten a couple of yards out of the backfield, but he is nothing of the dynamic receiver that Austin Eckler is.
Absolutely.
So that adds a whole
that was one element that I loved from Austin Eckler last year, was just those quick dump passes from Rivers to him, and he would just turn that into 20 or 30 yards.
Right.
And now with Herbert being able to be mobile as well and get the ball off to him, and he can just take out. I can't wait.
Yeah, he can throw the deep ball.
And that too.
The efficiency of his deep ball, that forces the coverage back, which is why that little dump underneath is so open all the time, because they have to respect the cannon that Justin has. So yeah, it's going to be good when we can get Austin back.
Can't wait. And then sadly, we also saw Uchenna Nwosu go down partway through the game. And after suffering what appeared to be a serious shoulder injury, test revealed it's a grade 2 AC joint sprain. He's getting a second opinion, but as of right now, he's roughly out for 3 weeks. So,
wow,
it's not good.
Not good.
Not good,
Not
but
good.
It's better than losing him for the season.
Right. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Trai Turner apparently needed stitches in his lip. I thought he had a nosebleed, but apparently somebody brought a knife out on the field and cut his lip. I don't know.
I think the guy just stands straight up and down the whole freaking game. That's why he's getting popped in the mouth.
Oh, really?
He just looks like the laziest football player to me.
Ouch.
I don't know.
Ouch.
I don't know,
Hot
man.
take.
He's just like standing straight up and down the whole game. To me, it seems like one of those, the chin strap came up, popped him in the lip, and that's how he got hurt.
Okay.
Which is not to say that couldn't happen to anyone. I don't know. When I watch him play, he just looks lazy to me. But
well, I mean, he's coming off of that injury. So, I mean, because even Daniel Popper was saying that it's been a long road coming back from his groin injury. A lot of peaks and valleys in the process, that he's never dealt with a lingering muscle injury like this before. So him saying that tells me that, like, he's out there, but he ain't 100%. Like, he's still dealing with some kind of an injury. So maybe being in that position is the least painful. So that's probably why he's getting popped in the mouth. Because, like, if he's squatting, he's like, oh, my groin.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say you're underwhelmed by our pickup Trai Turner so far, Kyle.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't know. I don't think we lost on that trade, because Okung's been hurt all year too, and I think Sam Tevi has not done that poor of a job. So I don't. Overall, looking at that trade, it is what it is. But Trai Turner as an actual acquisition,
right?
Kind of whatever.
So far,
maybe he'll get warmed up and get rolling at the end of the year.
Maybe, but he's on the last year of his contract. I highly doubt we're going to offer him anything that he is wanting to see as far as a contract.
I think it's a solid possibility. I mean, it remains to be seen who all will be coming back next year. We're not even near the end of the season yet, but so far, Trai Turner, as far as the coach is concerned, might not be coming back next year. So let's find out what else Coach has for us this week as we take a turn now over to the Coach's Corner. What do you got for us this week there, Coach?
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch base a little bit on one of the main differences we saw this week in our offense, and that is that we went to the no huddle a little bit. And just kind of give a brief overview of some of the benefits that you get from a no huddle structure of an offense. So first and foremost, which I think is the main reason why we did it, is it keeps the defense a little bit more basic or vanilla. It's hard to get in adjustments. It's hard to call elaborate plays when you're having to do it with hand signals really quick and try to get that sent out to the whole defense. So when you're up on the ball, you have to have a play set. Even if we get to the line and then check a play, or we're audibling for 5 minutes, the defense can't sit there and try to communicate the play, because we could snap it at any second and catch them off guard. So what it does, last week, everyone seemed to think that Justin was overwhelmed by the complexity of the Dolphins defense. So this is actually a great coaching technique to try to make their defense a little bit more basic. They can't run a whole lot of different schemes. You can't have a bunch of different stuff coming. You kind of just got to line up and play, because you don't know when they're going to run the play. They don't know how long it's going to be between. So it makes getting the play calls in a lot harder. It also slows down the rush a little bit, because those guys get tired. Those big boys are not able to just to get up and go full pass rush play after play after play. Right. And Justin's very used to it, being from Oregon. That's pretty much all they ran. They never went into a huddle. So they were constantly there up on the line, ready to go. So that's something he's used to. And what I was encouraged by was he was up there, it seemed like making audibles, at least it appeared that way. He may have just been calling out their protection for the offensive line, but it looked like he was up there adjusting plays, which that's what we were hoping for, right? As the season goes on, Justin's able to start getting us in the right play for the defense that he sees. And that only can happen if you're on the ball with enough time to make a change. If you're breaking the huddle with 10 seconds on the play clock, there's not a lot of time to assess the defense and then make an adjustment. So that allows you, if you just get to the ball with 20 seconds on the play clock, you can make some adjustments and have time to assess and figure stuff out. So I think that's a cool building tool that they're allowing him to do in game. And this was the perfect week to do it.
Yeah.
We all know that we're a better team than the Jets. So this is a good time to start at least putting it in there a little bit. It also keeps personnel on the field. So the NFL is all about matchups. Everyone in the NFL is a good football player or they wouldn't be there. To be successful and make big plays, you have to have matchups that you like. So let's say they were in a nickel and we happen to have what we like to run the ball. We don't want them to be able to, so let's just say whatever personnel, maybe they had one player that needed a break, so they brought somebody in that's a backup. We go no huddle, there's no way to get that guy off the field. So you can continually pick on that guy over and over and over until they call a timeout or for some reason that they have time to make a change. So personnel wise, you can keep guys on the field and you can manipulate the defense in different ways than you would be able to otherwise. Normally they're bringing in different packages. It's 3rd and short, they're going to bring in their heavy package. It's 2nd and really long, they're going to bring in their extra defensive backs. When you're no huddle, they have to keep the guys on the field that they have, or you snap it quick, get a too many men on the field, or just catch them off guard. So it adds that element to it as well. And it just creates some confusion. That's in the back of the mind of the defensive coordinator and the players the whole game. Even if we only do it for one series, they're like, okay, are they doing it? Are they not? You have to be ever aware of it. So those are some of the benefits of running no huddle, which is why I really, really like to see us tossing it in there. And I think, especially with Justin being so fresh out of Oregon, and that's what he does, let's start implementing it now that he's getting comfortable. And we saw that it was extremely successful. So, yeah, but those are some of the reasons I was really pumped to see us getting into a little bit of that no huddle.
Well, and not even the Jets it wasn't just the Jets not prepared for it. The CBS broadcast wasn't prepared for it. They were showing replays and then they'd oh shit, they cut back and the play's already going. So right. It caught everyone off guard, which is awesome. I do want to fact check you real quick.
Okay.
Trey Turner has one more year on his contract. So he's not
after this one?
This year. Yeah, we have him through 2021.
Got it.
Fact checked.
Thanks for that.
I felt like at the end of the second half, or at the end of the first half, that we had that kind of that rush, that time management seemed to be at least a little bit better going into the half. I don't know if that's something that we've also benefited from or gotten better at as far as time management goes. Like if that's from Herbert getting better or just the offense as a whole getting better. I don't know. It was just something that I noticed. So I don't know if that attributes to the no huddle business.
You're saying the end of the half was a little bit more controlled and seemed like we had a scheme to it a little
exactly.
bit.
The first couple of games that we've had this season, and I mean, you could chalk it up to coaching or to Herbert just being a rookie, but it felt like when we had to have those those 2-minute offense drives, it felt kind of fumbly. What do we should we call a timeout? Should we not call a timeout? Should I run out of bounds? Should I throw a pass? I don't know. It just felt better this game that we were able to manage the time better, at least going into the half. Those last 2 drives at the end of the game for the Chargers, good Lord, those were some of the worst drives I've seen out of this team at the end of the game. But going into the half, we were looking pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Justin's getting more comfortable and confident running, knowing just situationally getting stuff done and knowing how to control the clock a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's been in it enough. We've been in key situations where we need to make things happen, and he's getting comfortable with it for sure.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach, for shedding some light on all those little things that we don't always
Golf clap.
pay
Golf
attention,
clap.
especially myself. I don't even catch those things. So thank you for that. All right. Now we look over to the fan focus. Who do we got this week, Kev?
Well, we got another out-of-stater. This person comes from deep in Packer territory.
Oh my.
So this is a good one. My wife's a Packer fan, so this is good. So let's hit it.
All right.
All right, we're here with another fan focus, and we are lucky to have Brian from Wisconsin. Brian, what is going on, my friend?
Not a whole lot, man. Just trying to stay safe and sane at the same time. So
Yeah, it's gonna be hard being a Charger fan, but hang in there.
oh yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate your time, and we always like to talk to fans and just get different perspectives. So we'll just kick it off right away. So Wisconsin, aren't you supposed to be a Packer fan?
You would think so. Entire family's Packer fans. I always watched Packers growing up, and it wasn't anything that I didn't really connect with them. And so I never really felt like I had a team, even though like that was the team I was supposed to have.
Gotcha.
So
then how did you find the Chargers? How did that come about?
Well, it was in 2003, actually. I was playing video games as a kid, obviously. So in 2003, I got on the original Xbox, I got NFL Fever 2004.
Okay.
I think it'd be Madden or 2K4 or something like that. But so Fever 2004, my buddy and I would play a franchise mode off and on, and LaDainian Tomlinson would just kick my ass every single time. And I was like, oh my God. I'm going to trade whatever I can to get him on my team because obviously he's really good.
Yeah.
So then it honestly I became a fan of him from the game. And then I followed him and the team from that point on, just, for the rest of that season. And then it was like, well, then they found Gates out of nowhere, and then it was it snowballed from there.
You're a hook.
And my dad's like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, it happens.
That's so
I'm like, hey, I could be a Packers or I could be a Bears, a Vikings, or a Lions fan, but I'm not.
True.
So
yeah, well, even a different conference. So you're welcome, Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's so cool. Yeah, it's so interesting because like it seems like everyone we've talked to, kind of like the beginning of their fandom was LT, and obviously so it's so insanely. He was such a great player and such a big part of our
For
team.
sure.
This is a great segue. So, we have this new guy who is everyone's excited about, and we might be getting some more fans because of it. Like, what are your thoughts on Herbert? Because that's what everyone's talking about. That's what everyone's excited about. Like, what are your thoughts on Justin?
I mean, I'm as surprised as everybody else probably was when all of a sudden he just got thrust in there at the last minute and is just, he hasn't really slowed down besides the Dolphins game, really.
And that's because they didn't let him throw very much.
Exactly. But he is just on another level right now. It's insane.
It's so hard to find a quarterback, let alone
for sure
elite one like that. And we just we didn't really know what we had, and no one else in the league knew what we had.
Yeah, and talking like with all the Packer fans around here, I'm like, you guys have no idea what it's like to try to find a quarterback. Yeah. And then here we are. We had Rivers, and then all of a sudden Herbert just kind of falls in our lap. So
yeah, how lucky! Like, there's no delay. It's like, oh, we had Phil, he was awesome, and now we have Herbert, and
and we could be the Broncos and just keep throwing something until it sticks, and or until you sign Peyton Manning, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So so it's exciting, and it sounds like we're getting some new fans and people are on board. So it's just kind of a cool comparison. So what are your general thoughts on the team and where we are? I know it's kind of frustrating to be a Charger fan right now, but how do you try and stay positive, and what do you like?
I kind of went into this season as sort of, we didn't even know if the season was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, we're lucky enough that we got to see Herbert play and develop how he has. That being said, like, even though we're not winning how I'd like to, we're still definitely in all these games. I feel like that could be coached, something that can just that little extra push to get those W's it has to, right?
Yeah. So do you think that that's the next step that we need is a new coach and a new staff to try and get wins out of these guys?
Special teams coach? Yes.
100%.
Sure.
Could not agree with you more.
Yeah. It's so hard. I don't know the first thing about coaching or what goes into it. Anthony Lynn seems kind of very strong-headed and unwilling to take blame when he should.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
It's definitely a crapshoot. You never know what you're going to get each week from our coaching staff. And the one thing we can always guarantee, though, is that our special teams is going to be shit. Nice, warm shit.
Seriously, like, it's pretty rare that you see a block punt in today's game. It seems like, and we have 3 in 11 games. Like, that's just insane.
It's unacceptable. All right, man. Well, last question. Want to get your thoughts on upcoming week. Like, we have a really big, strong opponent we're about to run into, the 7-3 Bills. What are your thoughts on the game?
I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, the Bills have kind of been one of those underdogs for a few years. It seems like their defense will be surprisingly decent, even before they had what's his name?
Allen.
Allen. Yeah. I mean, they're a tough opponent, but I mean, we have shown up for teams that we weren't supposed to beat. So, I mean, it definitely won't be an easy win. I expect more of a shootout type game.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see who we get back. You know, if we can get Harris back, if we can get Eckler back. I don't know if you've seen some of his stuff on Twitter, but that guy's a monster.
Yeah, I saw him doing the squats and stuff, and I was like, how is that even possible?
Yeah, it's crazy. So, you know, we'll see what happens with that when we get those guys back. But all right, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And yeah, man, bolt up.
Yeah. Kay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye. Yeah, that guy's awesome. Brian from Wisconsin. Kay, love you. Hi and bye, my friend. And it was fun chatting with you. And stay strong up in Wisconsin. I know it's about to get cold.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, the winters up there
Hang out.
ain't easy.
I can't believe how many people are fans solely because of LT.
It's LT, dude. Like,
crazy,
almost
man.
everyone we've talked about.
He's such an icon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, LT. Thank you.
Thanks, man. It's the
You
reason
are
why
the
our fan
source.
base-
And none of our fan base, like, we've talked to Karen and one other maybe that are from Southern California. Everyone else is around the world.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. And maybe there's a reason why we don't have the biggest home game turnout. There's still a lot of Charger fans. Just
We
not
still
all of
vote
us can
on
make it to
Pepsi
the games.
Player of the Week.
Or if we don't like you, we'll vote for offensive lineman instead of Tua. So watch out. Don't mess with us.
Yeah, and like for the stats of like how well you did so that people vote for you, his said like helped a good rushing attack or something like that.
That was his stat line. Helped a successful running game for that week.
Yeah, it's like, how does anyone vote for them? Like, clearly our fan base is what decided, yep, this guy's going to win. Everyone go vote.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I love it so much.
That was awesome. Thank you, Brian.
Well, go vote. We want Herbert to win both these.
Yeah, he
Just a
deserves
reminder.
it
Go
this
vote.
week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go vote.
Deserves it this week. So don't forget to vote multiple times. I think both of those, the Pepsi Rookie of the Week and the FedEx one, you can vote multiple times. So open 2 windows and keep refreshing, baby.
Yeah,
buddy. All right. It's your favorite moment of the podcast, folks. At least I know it is for Kevin, because I know I'm going to make him cry laughing.
I'm so excited.
All right, it's time for Ask Twitter. So we started off this week with an old favorite, Tyler Foffey, aka Iowa Bolt Fan 54. Slayer gonna slay. How many more games does he need like this to earn the respect he deserves? How many receptions is Slayer gonna end up with his first 100?
Oh my God, Tyler Foffey. Thank you, Adam.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
What do you think? He's projected to go, 130 at the rate he's at right now and have an insane year. So I don't even know, man. I guess at this point it's up to Herbert what he's feeling that day.
sure.
But I hope he blows it out of the water and kicks ass the rest of the year.
That would absolutely be nice. And yeah, he's at least getting paid by us, so he's getting respect in that regard. But yeah, around the league, man, he always feels a little underrated. but they always say
That's the Chargers.
Yeah, they always say best slot runner,
He
best
plays for the
slot runner.
Chargers.
It's like, how about just best wide receiver? Can we just say he's the best?
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, it's interesting because I also like listening to other podcasts as well, not just listening to ours over and over again, which I don't do. But there's some other podcasts that are really, the Pardon My Take is like the #1 sports podcast, and they usually just shit all over us. Like they have nothing. We're always the butt end of a joke. But they like on this last episode, they stopped and be like, all right, we got to stop and kind of give credit where credit's due to Keenan Allen. Like you could tell listening to it, they were having a hard time saying it, like giving us actual credit. But I think, he's putting people on notice, and, you got to respect him, man.
Thank you, Tyler Foffey. Always good to hear from you.
Thank you, Tyler Foffey.
And next we've got Super Bolts 34, aka Super Bolts 28.
It's got the best.
AKA, who asked the question, Hagen, how do you still feel about Tua? Is he still better than boy Justin Herbert, aka Icebert? And for the football gods, please fire Gus and Stewart. They suck.
That was more of a statement. Super Bolts.
Well, he wants to know how you feel
about Tua.
You know how I feel.
How you
I'm
feeling?
fucking embarrassed.
How you feeling over there, big guy?
I wasn't expecting him to be my best friend. I wasn't expecting that now, but he's my best friend, and I make mistakes. I'm human, and I'm so glad I was wrong. Go back and listen to that podcast, and you can make fun of me for the rest of the time we do this podcast.
Oh,
I'm fine with it. We have Herbert, and that's all that matters to me. And Tua got benched, so thanks, Super Bolt 34.
Let's cut to Kev when let's hear the passion in that. No,
are you
when
really
Tua
gonna
got
play
drafted.
this?
Yes, add it.
No!
Oh boy,
No!
it's a tough day to be Kevin Duggan, folks. No.
And then 5 minutes later, okay, Justin,
Thanks.
here we go.
It's such an easy no. Okay, here we go.
Thanks for playing that one, Adam. Yeah, I was wrong.
No problem.
You can be wrong. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. Okay, I was wrong.
All right.
Sorry, I was wrong.
That's
Still gonna give
that's
you
one of the
crap.
best things that I love about Kevin. He'll always admit that he's wrong. He will never dig his heels in. He will just be
Especially
like,
when
"Yep, I
it's
was wrong."
caught
And
on a recording out there forever on a podcast.
There's really nothing I can do
There's
about
no
it. I
way
can't
around
back
it.
my way out of that one. Unless it evaporated from the internet. I can't. There's nothing I can do about it now. So my
I will make
apologies,
sure that
Justin.
never happens.
Don't hold it against me. I'll see you Saturday night with some Subway sandwiches.
Excellent. Thank you, Super Bolts, for calling out my co-host. Next, we've got Devin Nunez, aka Doe6745, asked the question, what are our biggest offseason needs? Seems like the glaring answer right now is O-line and defensive backs. What do you guys think our approach should be as far as the draft and expiring contracts? Also, what do you guys think the front office will do?
Fuck. What are we calling that one? That one's really funny. What is that one?
That's my squeaky voice team.
Okay, squeaky. What do you think, Kyle? What do you think our biggest needs are?
No slam, David Nunez. I don't think you've asked a question before, so
Yeah.
no slam on you. I'm sure
And
you're
your
a stand-up
icon
guy.
Thank
is
you.
Philip Rivers, so you're good.
Philip
You're right on the
Rios.
book. Yeah.
Philip
Philip
Rios.
Rios. Yes.
I think there's a couple of positions that we're set at, right? Linebacker, quarterback, and receiver. Those were all pretty solid in, and with guys that are locked in at least for another year. So I think defensive back, to me, it's just corner. We have enough pieces to move around in the back, especially when Derwin gets healthy. That I think Rayshon has been playing out of position all year. I don't know what his contract looks like, how many years he has. I don't know if he still has another one on him. But I think if you're able to put him back at that free safety, I think he does a better job than this year does. So I think that we need one more corner. But to be honest, it depends on how chips fall as far as the draft and who you're going to pick in that first round. Because we're not going to have, I don't think that we're going to have a top 5 pick. So I think that it's going to be who falls to us. And I think that it's going to be either offensive line, corner or a pass rusher, with Melvin Ingram coming up in a contract year right now. So those are the three pieces that I think that will address one of those in the draft. And then obviously there's always free agency. So those are the three things that I think that we'll probably address. What do you guys think?
I think the biggest one for me is you have this asset, you have this thing that's so important to your franchise. You found this perfect thing. You need a better offensive line. Like we've been kind of pushing it off.
What position though? Tackles, guards, center. Which one do you think is the most important?
If as long as things shape up and are better, I think our right side of the line is solid next year. I'm not too worried about Feeney at center. Lamp's looking decent. I honestly don't know. The big glaring one is the blind side. Tevy's been serviceable, but Herbert's still been one of the most pressured quarterbacks in the league. So yeah, I don't know that's an entire offensive line thing or what that is, but you need to step it up. You need to have better. And we're hurt most of the time on offensive line.
Yeah, and Pouncey's out. So much of our offensive line is hurt.
It's so much hurt. Yeah,
it's not what we had projected coming into the year. So that is a pretty big glaring still.
Yeah. So I want to look at offensive line just to protect the thing that we have. Like,
yeah,
we need to protect our quarter.
We don't need a Joe Burrow.
We don't need that.
I was just going to say that. Like, we don't want what happened to Joe Burrow to happen to Herbert. I would like to think that we go for O-line as well. I mean, I feel like we need to get O-line every year.
Right, we do.
But at least
everyone does.
With this particular season, especially with Mike Pouncey going out, I think Feeney has definitely been serviceable, but I don't know that Feeney wants to be center. I think that if you find somebody that can actually play the center position, like that's their bread and butter and that's what they do, I think that opens it up for Feeney to play stronger.
Right. I think he's better as a guard. I think he is. I saw him get beat pretty bad a couple of times this Sunday.
Yeah.
I haven't watched extensive tape on him to be able to give a great analysis, but on a couple of the tackle for losses that we had in the running game, it was because Feeney got beat pretty bad a couple of times. So I think he's a better guard than he is a center. So I think if we're worried about the guard spot, I think you pop Feeney back over there because he was much better over there. You draft, and centers are very low capital, especially in the draft. That's something you can get third, fourth round. Those guys don't go first or second round. So I think that's a great point.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think that we necessarily draft a center in the first round. But I think it's definitely a position that we need to get. I feel like, I mean, as much as I want our first round pick to be like Sewell, like some of the rest of the fans are cheering for, I feel like our offense has been pretty good this season. In fact, I mean, probably one of the best. I mean, there was this stat that I saw just recently. I don't think you have it here in the outline that showed that like the Chargers offense is like, for yards and points per game, we're like second in the whole league. So I as much as I want the O-line draft to be able to protect Herbert, I know that I think our biggest issues are going to be on defense. So I think, honestly, if we're going to spend a first round pick that's going to be higher up, it should probably be going to a cornerback or an edge rusher if we don't plan on bringing Ingram back next year.
And I think the other thing to address big time is special teams, like picks 4 through 7. Go find the special teams guys because we don't have them anymore, clearly. So I think you need to go find special teams players. And I think it was a point that was brought up on previously. Maybe this is just what we were talking, how Telesco doesn't really, he puts guys out there that can be serviceable in special teams as opposed to targeting guys that are, the focus. So we need help. Special teams defense will be a different defense when Derwin James comes back. So that'll alleviate some of the stress everyone has right now with Hayward and that. But we need to get a rush too, because I don't know if you're going to sign Melvin Ingram again.
Well, if we're not going to blitz, we need guys that can just flat out rush the passer.
You need to get there. So, and then that we'll see if Gus Bradley's not around, maybe that fundamental, approach to defense and pressure and how they give it, you'll see in the draft where they're going. If they're going for really fast blitzing linebackers, whoever our D coordinator is, whether it be Bradley or not, you're going to see where we're leaning towards schematically what we're going to do the next season.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, Mr. Nunez. Appreciate the question.
Thank you.
Salty Sports Guy is next, aka Salty Sports Dude, who asked the question, is there any hope for Casey Hayward? We're paying a lot of money for a guy that opposing QBs seem to target and pick on, and it's been happening now for 2 years. Will a new scheme help, or has he just regressed as a player? I feel like he's either regressed or he's injured. I don't know. It's even the coverage felt soft. I mean, he made a couple plays this last game, but yeah,
he's just
every time somebody
on.
was making big catches, you would see Casey Hayward blocking
and
him.
We're not used to that. Like the last couple of years, he's been the shutdown guy. Like you don't throw to him, you don't throw to his side, and that's just not the case anymore. I don't know. Is that a scheme thing, Kyle? Are we running something just differently from previous years that is making him a liability?
We're not running anything different. Nothing's changed as far as that goes. I don't know why he's not performing the way that he used to. I honestly, I have no idea, but he's not the kind of player that we're paying him to be right now. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's like I said earlier. I hope he's just banged up a little bit and he's hurt, and somehow he'll be able to turn it around. But yeah, I don't know what that's going to look like. And like you said, like different defensive coordinator, we start running more cover 2. That's a whole different position for him. He's not running man-to-man down the field as much. Cover 3, if that number 1 receiver goes deep, you're man-to-man with no help over the top. You're running cover 2, you still have help from that safety on your side of the field. So it changes things a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know what next year's going to look like. Casey Hayward's obviously, we all know he's not getting the job done right now. Seems like he's just hoping that they don't throw to him. So I'm hoping we get it figured out. He gets it figured out because I like the guy and he's been a great player for us in the past. He's not getting it done right now.
Right. I mean, he's a captain on the team too. So, I mean, that speaks of how the other players think of him in the locker room at the very least. So yeah, I'd like for him to stick around if we can find somebody to kind of help him out, ease the burden. So he's not blocking those number 1 wide receivers, then maybe he's get a better year. But yeah, I don't know. Once we get into the offseason and we start seeing some of those moves of either players not coming back or coaching staff being changed, then we get a better idea. But right now, we still got more football to play. So let's keep our eyes on the prize, whatever that prize might be.
Knocking more people out of the playoffs. We're running pretty well on that stat right now.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Salty Sports Guy. And next we've got Mike Nava, a.k.a. Mike FK7, who asked the question, with Harris Jr. possibly coming back this week and Eckler soon, do you think that will be enough for the Bolts to stack up some W's?
I'm hoping there's a spark. Our offense is doing it. Stats-wise, everything we talked about. It's just our defense. We need something new. Hopefully Harris will come back and help. I didn't take the time to go back and look and see what our defense was doing those games when he was involved more, but
they were blowing leads in the second half.
Man, they're still doing that. So I don't know. I don't want to say.
Yeah, it's not going to get worse. Tavon Campbell, who is his backup right now, had that pick 6 though, so he's been a liability in certain places, but he seems like he's playing a little bit better here coming along.
Or
so
Flacco just sucks.
I don't know how much. Unfortunately, I don't know how much a nickel corner or a slot corner. It doesn't revolutionize your whole defense. It could definitely be a patch. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. But I don't think it's going to revolutionize everything and change the whole defense. A Derwin James does. I don't think a Chris Harris does. A Chris Harris makes a good defense better, but I don't think him coming back is going to fix Casey Hayward and Michael Davis getting beat deep. So that we'll see. Hopefully, our remaining schedule is the Bills, Pats, Falcons, Raiders, Broncos, Chiefs. 3 of those teams that are in the AFC West we haven't beat in 2 years. So stacking W's, I'm not extremely confident in. But yeah, they don't make us worse. So they put us closer to W's than they do further away.
100% agree.
I concur. More. I concur.
Thank you, Kyle, for putting the words in my mouth. I will gladly eat them up. Thank you, Mike. And next, we've got, an old favorite for me, at least. Papa Duggan reached out to
Not
us.
for us.
Asked
For
us a
you, at least,
question.
not for his
He's my
kids.
favorite. I love this guy. And he even made a request on a voice. So let's see what I can do
All
here.
right, Dad, what you got?
Question. How come when there is a victory, it is the players stepping up, but all losses are reflected on the coaches? The old adage, coaches coach, players play. Here's the ultimate football team statement. The losses fall somewhere in between. That's why it's the greatest team sport, and why my sons have been coached, parented to love it. Statement/question. Players and coaches take all the heat for the Chargers' losses, while the owners and GM responsible for the ingredients seem to just slide by. I'd like Charger chat perspective.
I
thought my dad was in
the.
the room right now. That was amazing.
I'd like to point out a couple things. Our dad is not that old, and two, I respectfully,
Kyle, go to your room.
I respectfully decline this question. I will not answer.
Don't access me.
This feels like a trap. It feels like a trap.
It's a trap.
One of us is going to say something,
on Wednesday,
and we're going to get a text/call after.
So Adam, good luck answering this question, Bulldog.
That's fine. I think it's a solid question. When he asked it, I was like, wow, okay, that kind of brings perspective. Like, we all are focusing on the players or the coaches since those are the guys on the field, but it's like, again, you got to find out like where the buck stops. Like, who put those guys on the field? Oh, right, the GM and the owner. Like, I don't know. I think it's an interesting point that hasn't really been brought up yet. I mean, we've argued earlier in the podcast that Tommy T brought Herbert so he could practically do no wrong, just like Keenan Allen talking about the players. But at the same time, there's other guys out there on the field that they gave the okay to be out there, and then we're sitting with a 3-7 record. So
yeah, it's hard. It's more of a like, it's harder to put your finger on it, like with who they picked up, how they built the roster, all that stuff. Well, at least with the Telesco point of view, it's like he's cruising right now, in my opinion, with the Herbert pick. Like, even though it fell into his lap, like he pulled the trigger on it and that was it. And look at him now. Like that,
a lot of people were hoping he went Isaiah Simmons and didn't pick Justin at all. That's what some people wanted.
AKA Kyle the Coach Doug.
That's right. That's right. We can put, hey, if you want to put that in here, you can. That little clip.
Sure.
That one might be harder to
yeah,
find.
it's exactly. But I think there's an element of like, yeah, we're the ownership is responsible for this. And the thing that we got to remember is like, this isn't new. This is years and years of these same kind of heartbreaking moments and these heartbreaking things. And the with
the same GM and the same owner.
That's the thing, is the one consistent is the Spanoses, like AJ Smith, different GM, Telesco, different GM. Like these are different guys with getting similar outcomes. So I don't know how the Spanoses are involved with these decision making. I know there's a few of the Spanos sons are a part of the organization and player personnel and that kind of thing. So you got to look up to the top in a lot of ways and see if the coach brings the culture, but the owners are really bringing the culture. You look at Kraft from New England, that's a different culture over there. I think you kind of really need to look at ownership as much as you look at some of this stuff.
I think that if you look at what hurts my heart is to listen to, there's this podcast that Danny Woodhead and Matt Slauson have called Out of Nowhere. I listened to one episode and I couldn't listen anymore because Slauson goes off on the Chargers a lot as an organization, not on the coaching staff, not on his teammates, because he's doing a podcast with the teammate. He's talking about how poorly they were treated, the facilities that they had, the meals that they had, the travel accommodations that they had.
Wow.
He kind of goes off on a lot of different areas as far as how the players are treated. And if that's how you feel as a player, how are you going to go out there and perform feeling like you're a part of something bigger and feeling like backed by your organization, like being excited to be a Charger? Now, I'm not saying that that's how all of the Chargers feel, but I listened to one episode of that because I love Danny Woodhead and I saw they had a podcast. I was like, hell yeah. And I thought Matt Slauson was awesome too. He's that like grizzly offensive lineman with all the tattoos from Nebraska. But yeah, I don't remember which episode it was, but he like kind of went off on the way that things were handled. And that's ownership. That's what they're investing into the team. So to Dad's point, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think a lot of us don't want to bring up ownership because there's no way that's ever going to change.
There's nothing you can do about it. Really.
You're going to bitch about ownership. You might as well just not be a fan because that's not going anywhere. The GM Telesco, I think he's done a pretty darn good job. Our roster is always considered. Everyone talks about how talented our roster is. So from just an outside perspective, like, he's not in charge of them getting hurt. Like, he could look at their previous injuries and stuff, but them getting, like, how is a GM going to be able to know if somebody's going to get hurt? And he has whatever backups. He's already come out and admitted that he shouldn't have dismantled the special teams in a year like this with COVID and not having any offseason and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think it's just harder to go that high knowing that there's not going to be anything that's ever going to change. Because if that's what you're blaming it on, you're in for just a lifetime of misery, which is, I guess, what we've had as Charger fans.
Yeah.
Touche, Dave.
Yeah. Good work, Dad.
Touche.
Thanks for, but honestly, thanks for messaging us. Thanks for I know you're not on Twitter, so it's not really a part of Ask Twitter. It's an ask text message. But we appreciate you texting us that. That's awesome.
No problem, Kevin.
And lastly,
sounds like Professor. It sounds like a Harry Potter character that you're doing right there. Dumbledore.
20 points to Gryffindor.
sounds like Dumbledore.
You got Dumbledore vibes.
20 points to the Duggan household.
Lastly, one of our old favorites. You know him, you love him. It's Craig, and where is he from? He's from Texas.
Yo, Victory Monday. Been a while since we can say that, huh, fellas? Yeah, but let me lead with love starting off here. Regardless as to whether or not it was against the Jets, a dub is a dub, and we'll take them. It's been few and far in between this year, so I'll save my criticisms for the back end. Herbert, wow. What a freaking stud. It's going to be amazing watching him in this division going against Patrick Mahomes twice a year. Derek Carr, the lock kid, nobody really cares. But, again, they made it interesting, but a W is a W. Let's talk a little bit about Casey Hayward, though. Hey, Coach, this question is more geared towards you. Coming out of Vandy, everybody knew the kid wasn't a burner. He was more of a technician. Even that's starting to go down the drain. They took him out of the game in a clutch situation at the end, and I think it had very little to do with this groin. I think they knew they were in danger if they left him out there on an island. But looks like we might be in the market for a cornerback, at least one, in the offseason. Either way, great game. Moving on to next week. I think we got the Bills on deck. It's going to be a rough one, but let's enjoy this one while we have it. Feels good, guys. Soak it in. Bowl ganger don't bang. Love you, fellas. Later.
Excellent. Thank you, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
I love your cadence, man.
Yeah,
it just
I love it,
it's so good.
One of these days, we're going to get out to Texas and go hang out with Craig. I'm
Absolutely.
sure that'd be a fun viewing party if we could do that.
Chargers got to play a Texans or Cowboys here at some point. We'll make it out there.
At some point.
But yeah, I had the same feeling watching Hayward. We talked about it already. It's just
He's a
stressful
liability right now. Yeah,
scary. I used to have so much confidence in him, but I don't know what has happened. I haven't really seen him on the injury report. There's not really too much signs of that, so I don't know how bad it is injury or he's just doesn't have it this year. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, it feels like he's lost some pep in his step. I don't know what to attribute it to. You just have to go with it. I mean, if they put him out there, they put him out there because they think he can do it, and just hope that he can hold on. Hope that bringing Harris back will just kind of help ease some of that burden and get some guys back in the positions that they need to be in. But yeah, it's I don't know if it's a scheme situation.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to blame it on scheme. If a corner can't run with a guy, it's hard to play corner in the National Football League. We all want more pressure. We want blitzes. You want blitzes, you're going to have guys on islands. So if that's not something that he can do, I'm optimistic and I'm hoping that it's an injury thing. But if it's not, yeah, we are definitely, like Craig said, in the market for some corners this offseason.
Yeah. I think that's regardless of whether Casey sticks around or not. I think we definitely just need some help in those positions. But excellent. Thank you, Craig. And thank you to everybody that asked on Twitter. We appreciate it. And as Craig mentioned, we've got the Buffalo Bills on deck. And man, they've been playing pretty darn good this year. I'm not exactly looking forward to to this game.
Yeah.
They're 7-3 right now to our 3-7. But hey, at least it's going to be a nice 48-degree weather.
Well, that's the thing.
Mostly sunny with a warm front coming in from the left, and expect some showers later in the evening. Let's take it over to Kevin with sports. Kevin, what do you got this?
I wanted to pull the weather because usually, when we play noon games on the East Coast this time of year, it's like cold and rough and not what we're used to in sunny California. So, the fact that it's not a freezing balls game or it's not going to be snowing, that's it helps us a little bit. I'm just trying to find little glimmers of excitement of possible good things for us.
Shamelessly positive. That's my
shamelessly positive podcast.
That's right.
So
gotta do it.
A couple of the things that were interesting that I found out is obviously this week they're coming off a bye, and the Bills haven't lost after a bye week under Sean McDermott, their head coach. So how the one thing I would say from previous weeks was like the Bengals week 1, they hadn't fumbled in however many straight games. We did that. I'm reaching. So, but who knows? Maybe we can do this for them. Give them that loss after a bye week.
Absolutely. I mean, as Craig said, we've upset some teams before. We've won games that we should not have won in the past. And I mean, we've lost games that we shouldn't have lost this season. So hopefully the tide is turning for us in the second half of the season.
Yeah. That's what's crazy is no matter what game we go into, I'm like, we could win. It's not like we don't have play the Steelers.
We're not getting blown out.
If we play our best game, we could beat any team in the NFL. So I'm not like, oh my God, the Bills. Although this is not the Bills of the last decade. This is a good football team. Yeah, they're solid. That big boy at quarterback can huck the ball, and that's not a good sign for the way our corners have been playing. So hopefully we figure something out in this week, find a way to get pressure on him, and Casey gets healthy.
Absolutely. Okay. And we wrap up every episode with some bold predictions. What do you got for us this week, Kyle?
All right, guys, I'm predicting a real close one. I have a final score of 27-26. Odd score, just felt right. 27-26. And my bold prediction stat-wise is I think our boy Eckler is back. He has 100+ yards from scrimmage.
Oh my God, I hope.
I have Austin Eckler with at least 100 yards from scrimmage. Mixture between rush and pass.
That's fine.
Oh God, you're the king of bold predictions where players don't play. So I hope you're wrong on this one.
I hope I'm wrong too. You did the same thing.
I hope you're right in a wrong way. If that makes sense. I hope I'm wrong too.
All right. Yeah, good one. What do you got, Mr. Huggin?
Looking back at some of the games that the Bills have played this year, they had one particular game where they gave up some points to a team that hasn't been looking that great right now. They lost to the Titans 42-16.
Wow.
So I think this is a little crazy, but I think
repeat score.
No, not a repeat score. I think we're gonna put up more points than we have so far. I think it's gonna be 38-21 Chargers. We're gonna steamroll these fools.
Dude, based on one game? Come on.
Dude, last week you projected it was like
they gave up
goose egg?
They gave up the goose egg last week.
To the Chiefs. That was me. Yeah.
So, hey, he can give a goose egg and I can't do that.
His was a joke. You went back and looked at stats.
No, I just looked at it. I was like, it's possible they've given up that much. Well, give me a hot second. I already forgot what it was. 38-21 Chargers. And
that's a butt whooping. I like that.
Harris plays and he gets an interception. So that's my projection.
Excellent.
My bold prediction.
Excellent. Trying to steal my interception thunder away. That's fine. No, that's fine. I'm all right with
you gotta
that.
Sneak it.
Okay. I think, let's see. Chargers are going to win. I think everybody's right that it's going to be a gunslinging game. Offense hasn't been the concern. It's been the defense. So there's no reason why it shouldn't be a high scoring game. I'm going to say, and they're always within one score. So to predict anything more than 2 scores is ridiculous. So I'm going to say,
coming from the guy that gave a goose egg last week, what is this? We've become all like serious all of a sudden with this. We're so bad at this. Come on, guys. I feel like
let's try harder.
The bold prediction, I think, mostly comes from like what we actually think might happen. So score wise, I'm going to say 33-28. And my bolt prediction, I think Keenan Allen gets 10 more receptions.
No, wow, that is bold. That's awesome. That would be sweet.
10 more receptions for Keenan Allen. All right. I'm feeling it in my bones.
Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, he's got to. Well, he doesn't have to. We respect him, and the team respects him. I think the rest of the world needs to respect him, though. And getting 10 more receptions and back-to-back games, I think that would be pretty dang sweet. So, excellent. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for us here for this Charger Chat episode. Appreciate everybody for sticking around, reaching out to us on Twitter, chatting with us. I love nothing more than for us to have those interactions. I really do appreciate it, and the rest of my co-hosts do as well. Don't forget to bolt up because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
Bye, Dad.
Go to your room. Bye, Dad.
Do you know how fast you're going to shut up right now?
And now, a word from our sponsors. Has this ever happened to you?
Hey, Johnny, want to play lip cutter?
I don't know, Billy. That sounds dangerous.
Come on, don't be such a chicken.
Okay, I guess so. Ow, my lip! Sounds like Johnny should have used Trai Turner's Lip Guard, the only device that ensures that no matter what happens to the rest of your body, your lips are safe from any potential harm. Don't delay. Order Trai Turner's Lip Guard today.